Jason and Maria.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Well, for generations, the Maritimes had a reputation for producing some of the biggest names in old-time country music, like Don Messer and Hank Snow.
And there was another country artist who also became a headliner. CTV's Mike Cameron looks back on the days when Kid Baker ruled the country music scene.
Within New Brunswick's provincial archives, there's a document from a different era in country music, an era when musicians from the Maritimes were household names. Though long ago, those names and faces faded from the limelight.
That's a program for the Kid Baker Show with the various musicians and entertainers that were part of the show.
The Kid Baker program speaks to the maritime music scene of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s.
It is a valued piece in part because it's kind of one of a kind, despite the fact that there were probably hundreds if not thousands of them produced at the time, because he toured for years.
Darling, this morning we parted.
Kid Baker headed up a hugely popular traveling show called the Maritime Ranch Boys.
So howdy fine folks, friends and neighbors and country cousins.
Years after he retired, Baker spoke with ATV's Dave Wright about those early days on the road and how he learned to build a loyal audience.
I never once thought of the money that was at the gate down there. You know what I mean? What I was doing was playing for next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I put this show on for next year.
A show that mixed music with a maritimer's sense of humor.
Some people call this the violin. Others call it the fiddle. I always pretty well stuck to the fiddle because I never figured I could play the violin.
The walls of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame are covered with the faces and names of decades of entertainers, including one for Kid Baker's induction in 1983. Kid Baker was among the first inductees into the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame, and he went in with good company, alongside Don Messer, Ned Landry, and George Hector. But the people who chose to put Kid Baker on the Wall of Honor say it was an easy decision to make.
Well, he was so well known. He was somebody that had lived all across Canada, even in British Columbia for a few years, and had TV shows out there.
Jerry Taylor is himself in the Hall of Fame and was on the committee that nominated Kid Baker. He says Baker's touring entourage of cars, trucks, and trailers was the talk of every town he visited.
He took sound equipment and everything with him. Most of these people, you know, relied on the place they were playing to provide that sort of thing. But this guy brought his own.
I had a sound truck even. I had it like you have there. I had a truck like that with loudspeakers on it and names all over it. And my brother would go ahead of me.
Is that right? Eh?
And he'd, in the afternoon, he'd broadcast all the afternoon, play the records and announce where we were going to be.
It was a time when even big-name musicians had to be their own promoters and publicists and rise above humble beginnings.
He comes from a pretty small place, North Tilley, up in Victoria County. He was a talented musician, played multiple instruments.
A musician that played his way into the hearts of Canadians from coast to coast.
It harkens back to a time period that lots of people have forgotten about.
Can you see you're the one that I adore?
A time when maritime musicians ruled the radio and were the stars of stages well beyond the region. Mike Cameron, CTV News, Fredericton.
A little bit of nostalgia for some of our older viewers, for sure, I bet.
Well, I'm sure we've taken quite a few of them. Mike has down memory lane. It's a fascinating glimpse of a time not that long ago, really.